Good day, ladies and gents. Today we're going to be talking about reflections. All right, so let's start off by just taking some notes. So we have transformation, an operation that maps an original figure called the pre-image onto a new figure called the image. So that's a transformation, just a normal transformation. A transformation can change in size, position, or the shape. All right, so that's any transformation. Specifically about reflection, which is what we're talking about today, is a flip. Let me zoom in just a little more here. So a flip over a line called the line of reflection. So we've had the line of symmetry, and now we have the line of reflection. Line of symmetry is if you have a shape and where is the line of symmetry where you could fold it over onto itself, versus the line of reflection is you take a shape, you flip it over that specific line, and now you have a new shape. So that's the difference between line of reflection and line of symmetry. Okay, so we have a line of reflection. Each point and its image are the same distance from the line of reflection. Possible lines of reflection. We have the x-axis or the y-axis. We have, so those are two possibilities. Vertical or horizontal lines, so that'd be like x equals a number or y equals a number. And we also have diagonals, y equals x and y equals negative x. Okay, so let's go back for a second. When they're talking about the line of reflection, here's the thing that you need to notice. So if I take B and I'm changing it over to this right here. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's say that this was a distance of 7. This would also be a distance of 7. So you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you just go 7 more. All right, C, let's say that was 2 hops. This would also be 2 hops. And A, I would do the same thing. Let's say that was 10 hops, and this would also be 10 hops. Now here's the more important part. So you know that this line is smack dab in between both the B's. This line is smack dab in between both A's, and this line is smack dab in between both C's. Also, if I draw a line straight from C to the other C, this line right here is perpendicular to the line of reflection. That's all really, really good stuff. Okay, and then here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about all 6 of these types of lines. And so our goal is to talk about these right here. So I'm actually going to redraw. This is on my hot topics. So I'm going to have 4 here, 4 up at the top, 2 down here at the bottom. So if you're going to be copying it down with me, that would be good space. Okay, so let's talk about each one specifically. So I'm going to have 4 things here. I'm going to break that up, and I'm going to write stuff underneath that. So this is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. This will be x equals a number versus y equals a number. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to write stuff right underneath those in a minute. Okay, so let's talk about this. Which one is the x-axis? So right here, this is the x-axis right here. And let's say we start off with x comma y. Oh, do you guys see that? I just wrote a comma. Okay, so I'm not going to write any more commas now. But if you start with x comma y, what would be the new coordinates? All right, so let's take this. If I had this point, it would reflect over to here. So what happens? The x would stay exact. So when I reflect over the x-axis, it stays exactly at x. So the x didn't change, but the y changes from positive, negative, or negative to positive. So it goes negative y. So that would be that new coordinate. Okay, what if you flip over the y-axis? So here's the y-axis. And if you were over here, you would flip over here, or vice versa. If you were over here, you'd flip over here. Now, what stayed the same? When I reflect over the y-axis, the y stays exactly the same. The x changes its sign. So that's a good pattern to notice. All right, let's keep going. What if you have x equals a number? All right, so where's the x-axis? Here's the x. So what I like to do is use my arm first. So if you put your arm out, where's the x-axis? So you would hold a horizontal arm. Where is x equals, I don't know, like -3. So you put a bug on, like you would point at a part on your arm. So let's say your bug is right there. Now so here's x, here's that number. And then how do you smack that bug? You would smack that bug by going down. So it looks like this. So that's x equals number. So you'd have your arm horizontal. You would put a bug on your arm, and how do you smack that arm? You go smack down. Boom. And that's the line. Okay, so I would flip from here to over here. And so what stayed the same? So x would turn into some random number. So I'm going to put, it wouldn't be this number, it'd be some other random number. So I'm going to call that, I'm going to also call it a number, but I'm going to put a circle around it. It's not the same number. And then, so x would be some number, and y would stay exactly the same. And then over here, so this one, y equals number. So you would hold a vertical arm, so you would put your arm standing straight up. If y equaled a number, so you would put a bug on your arm, and then how would you smack that bug? You would smack it across your arm. So here's the bug on your arm, and you would smack it this way. And that is y equals a number. So how would you reflect that? So if you had a point right here, it would end up over here. So y would be some number. There is a pattern on how to get from here to here, but I'm not going to teach it to you right now. All right, so you would flip over to here, and then x would stay exactly the same. And that's that coordinate. All right, so it's nice to know those patterns there. And then in addition to that, let's do 2 more. So we have, and make sure you have room at the bottom here. So we have this and this. So what if you had y equals x or y equals -x? All right, so this is going to be diagonals. This is y equals a positive x, so it flips over this line right here, going through 0, 0. And y equals -x would go down from left to right, going through 0, 0. All right, now how do you flip that? So if there was a point right here, it would land right here. And so I talk a little bit about that over here on this example. So do you see this? How do you flip over this line? You would, I put individual points, and then I would turn this way, and you would only follow the black lines. So how many hops until you hit one of those dots? So from A, I would hit it after 5 dots. So you would go 5 dots more down this way. You just need to make sure that you are, so if this is a dude's head, both of his arms are symmetrical. If you have an arm this way and an arm this way, that's not symmetrical. So if you go up, then you have to go down. So like that. So this is 5 hops, that's 5 hops. And if you had your A over here, that is not in the right spot. That doesn't look correct. So over here looks more legit, because from here to here, if I draw a line from there to there, is this perpendicular to the reflection line? No. This is perpendicular to reflection line. That works. So this is 5, this is 5. Boop, there's the answer. So you can do that graphically, or even better, what happened to this? So your xy, basically it just switched. So it would be y, x. And then over here, what happened here? Oh, they would, so if you had a point right here, it would be right here. So what happened here? You would have a -y, -x. And that would be that point. And what I like to do is take my highlighter, and I like to highlight the negative numbers because they stick out a little better. So I move this over to here, and they turn negative. So, or they flip the sign would be a better way to say that. Okay, so those are all those. And so now you can actually have the patterns so you can check yourself algebraically. All right, let's keep going. So now let's actually do some problems. Okay, so we're on page 4. We're on page 4, number 1. So page 4, number 1, right here, we are reflecting over the x-axis. So here's the x-axis. We're going to flip over this line right here. And I personally like to turn that vertical to myself to help me out. So I like to, okay, so how far is C from this line? That is 1 hop, so go 1 more hop, and that is letter C. How far is B from this line? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's letter B. And A is 2 hops away, so go 2 more hops. And that's my A. And I connect those dots. And does it look like you just flipped over that line? Yes, it does. All right, so I'm going to turn that back to normal. And so now I'm going to put so we're 0, 0. So here's the arrow where they connect is right there. So that's 0, 0. And so this was the original, and this is the new shape. And very important, I like to cover up the original so I don't accidentally give those coordinates. It's a very common mistake. All right, so where did we land? So A is right over here. And all right, so we have A, which is right over here. That is -4, -2. We have B, which is +4, -7. And C, which is at +5, -1. All right, so this should be okay. Now, there's a lot of common mistakes on this. One mistake is you accidentally give me the original. Another common mistake is you might drop a positive or negative. And another possible mistake is you give me the answer for B instead of C. You get 2 coordinates completely backwards. These are all common mistakes. Now, how do you catch yourself? I catch myself that I always do the graph first, but then I always write the coordinates next just to double check myself. So I write the coordinates right here, and I figure out what the pattern was. So I know that the pattern was that when you flip over the x-axis, the x stays exactly the same, and I can tell that that's true, and then your y flips its sign. So this would be a -y. And did that happen? Yes. Positive turned into negative, positive turned into negative, positive turned negative. Everything checks out. I was just double checking. And even if I didn't memorize that, I could actually have seen the pattern and just make sure that each one is correct. Or if this was a -1, I'd be like, wait a minute. Oh, I have these 2 backwards. Like you would catch if you had accidentally flipped a point. All right, let's try this again. All right, so we're going to number 3. So I'm going to shift down. All right, so number 3. Do this again. We're going to reflect over the y-axis. All right, so here's the y-axis. And that's vertical to me. All right, I'm going to reflect each point. So right here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This other point is 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'm doing something really dangerous right now, which is not writing my points while I'm reflecting. Now, me personally, the letter I and the letter H. When I rotate stuff later, this looks like an I now, doesn't it? And that looks like an H. So I know for my personal mistakes that my I's and my H, especially when I'm rotating stuff, they look the same. So I always put I, the letter I, in a circle so it's an eyeball. So anytime I see it in a circle, I know that that's the letter I, not accidentally the letter H. So that's me. All right, so I is 8 hops, so go 8 more hops. And then H is on the line. It did not move anywhere, so it's still on the line. So H is still right there. So I connect the dots. Now, here is a common mistake. I was not writing the letters as I was flipping stuff. A lot of people, this is wrong. A lot of people put F and G. That is incorrect. This is wrong. You did not just slide this over. What happened was G is 2 hops away. This is 2 hops. This is the letter G. and F was really right here. That is a very common mistake. So be aware of that. H is right there, and the letter I is right here. So I make that an eyeball. All right, excellent. Okay, and I may not have noticed that mistake, but if I check myself later on this, when I do the algebraic part, I would have caught myself. All right, so here we go. So now let's write down those coordinates. I'm going to cover up the original so I don't accidentally give those answers. As a very common mistake. The 0, 0 is really right here. All right, so where are these coordinates? We have, that's 5, negative 2, positive 2, negative 2. Okay, this is H. And a lot of people get H and I backwards. That's another common mistake. So H is at, okay, that's 6. So is it 0, negative 6, or is it negative 6, 0? Okay, now how do you know that? Is this on the x-axis or the y-axis? This is on the this is on the y-axis. So the number has to be with the y. So that's this one right there. So that is 0, negative 6. And I is positive 8, negative 6. All right, now let's double check our answers. I'm going to take these numbers. I'm going to rewrite them right here. So I'm done with this problem. I just want to double check. All right, so good. The digits are still the same. If I'm reflecting over the y-axis, so if I'm reflecting over the y-axis, the y stays the same, the x turns negative. All right, so look at all the y's. Yep, they're all the same, and all the x's, negative turn to a positive, negative turn to a positive, nothing happened there, negative turn to a positive. Yep, everything checks. So I know I'm doing this correct. Excellent. All right, so now it's your turn. I want you guys to try a couple. So I want you guys to pause the video, and I want you to do number 2. So where's the y-axis? And then flip over that line. So pause the video, see if you get the right answer. All right, let's see if you got that right. So here's number 2. Double check. Did you do it correctly? So did you flip it over the line correctly? So here's the y-axis right here. That's 1 hop. That's 2 hops. So go 2 more hops. And then those are all the coordinates. Okay, you try again. I want you to pause the video and try number 4. All right, so hopefully you reflected over the x-axis. And let's see if you guys got the right answer. So it should look like this. So when you flipped it over, you landed right here. Okay, excellent. All right, let's keep going. I want you guys to go to page 5. So we're going to go to page 5. So on page 5, I want you guys to try this again. So you're going to pause the video, and you guys are going to do number 1. So we're on page 5, number 1. I want you to try this again. I want you to reflect over the y-axis. So here's the y-axis. Flip over that. And let's see if you guys get the right answer. All right, you guys should have gotten this answer. So double check those. All right. Okay, let's keep going. And now I actually want you to shift over, and we're going to try number 4. So number 4 says reflect over the x-axis. So here's the x-axis. Take each point, reflect over the x-axis, and be mindful of the letters. Make sure that you're writing the letters as you go, and let's see if you guys get the right numbers. You guys should have done number 4, and let's see if you guys get the right answer. Number 4, here were the answers. Hopefully you guys got that right. So your new answers should be down here, and these are the coordinates. All right, let's keep going. So now we're going to go ahead and try number 3. So let's go ahead and move over to number 3. Okay, they said y equals a number. All right, so we're going to find the y. So here's y. On this line, where's the number 1? Right here. So here's y, here's the number 1, and how do you smack that? So there's a bug on your arm. How do you smack that? You would smack it this way. So So we're going to reflect over this line right here. Okay, I personally like to turn it vertical. Okay, and reflect each point. All right, so M is 2 hops away, so go 2 more hops. That's the letter M. L is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now please notice See how it's 1 hop away from the edge? It's not 1 hop away from the edge, it's 3 hops. So that's why we count until we hit the red line, count till we hit, and then count that same number. So be mindful of that one. Okay, K is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the letter K. And J is 1, 2, 1, 2. And that is the letter J. All right. Does everything look like we just flipped over? Yes. So that looks legit. Now turn it back to normal. So when you turn this back to normal, common mistakes, a lot of people write the coordinates from here incorrect. Where is 0, 0? It's really right here. So from here, that's where we're going from. That's 0, 0. So we're going to cover up the original. And if you can, erase that reflection line because it's going to that's going to bother you. Okay, so we're going to find each coordinate. So they said J. So J is over here. That is negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's negative 4, negative 1. Where's the letter K? That is negative 1, 2, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Where is the letter L? That is 1, 2, so that's positive 2, negative 5. And M is positive 1, 2, 3, negative 1. Excellent. All right, so now I want to check my answers. So this should be it, but I want to double check. I know for a fact that when I reflect over y equals a number, so in this case, y equals 1, right? So we're reflecting over y equals 1. So the y is going to be some random number that I'm not quite sure. There is a pattern, but I'm not really pointing it out right now. And then your x is going to stay exactly the same. All right, the original coordinates were negative 4, positive 3, negative 2, 7, positive 2, 7, and positive 3, positive 3. All right, let's see. Are all the x's exactly the same? Yes, and if they weren't, I probably got 2 coordinates backwards. So that would help me catch that mistake. And then your y's, there is a pattern, not really going to point it out, but you can definitely tell that I got that right. Okay, so, and that's correct. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to go ahead and do number 5. We're going to shift down. So that was number 3, and we're going to shift down and do number 5. On number 5, we're going to reflect over x equals negative 3. So find x. Here's x. On this line, where's negative 3? Right here. So 1, 2, negative 3. And we reflect, and how do we hit that bug? Is like that. So you had your horizontal arm. There's a bug on your arm. How do you hit that? You smack it down. Okay, we're going to reflect each point. P, that's 1 hop. Go 1 more hop. Q is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's Q. And then R is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. All right, so this was the original. This is the new shape. Everything looks legit. In between the R's, that's in between the P's, there's the red line. So as long as that line is smack dab in the center, we're good to go. Okay, and then where are those coordinates? So where's the real 0, 0s? Right here. I'm going to cover up the other points if I can help it. All right, so where is the letter P? Okay, so the letter P is negative 4, positive 3. Your Q, that is negative 8, positive 4. And your R, that is negative 7, negative 1. All right, I want to double check that I got this right. When I reflect over x equals negative 3, so x is a random number. It could be, but there is a pattern to that if you want to take the time to learn that. And then your y is going to stay exactly the same. All right, so let's see what we got. We had negative 2, 3, 2, 4, and 1, negative 1. All right, so all of your y's should stay the same. Yes, they did. Sweet. This would help you catch if you accidentally got 2 letters backwards. And then these other ones are correct. Excellent. Let's keep going. 2 more problems. Let's go ahead and go up on page 5, still on the same page, number 2. All right, y equals x. All right, so y equals x. So that means that we are going up from left to right because it's a positive diagonal. So 0, 0, then 1, 1. So I'm just putting these dots so I can be as exact as possible. I'm reflecting over this line. But the line is good, but the dots are more important. We're going to turn that into vertical. That helps us out a lot. Okay, so remember, I don't want to go boom, boom, because see, if I put a dot over here, this line to those two dots is not perpendicular to this. So we actually want to go up and then down, and then that would be perpendicular to this line. All right, so how far is G from one of those points? That is 2 hops, so go 2 more hops, but in the other direction. So G landed here. All right, F is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until I hit one of those dots. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and F landed right here. And then H is 1 hop, so go 1 more hop, so there's H. And you connect those dots. Now it looks legit. Perfect. So that turned into this. Okay, so now we have, what are those coordinates? So from the real 0, 0, where is the letter F? That is 8, 1. So it's positive 8, positive 1. Your G, that's positive 7, positive 5. And your H is positive 3, positive 2. Now let's double check if that's correct. I'm going to write down my original coordinates right next to this. Oh, that's 3. Okay, and then so when you reflect over y equals x, that's going to turn into, this will be your y, this will be your x. And did that happen? Yeah, they just switched coordinates. Everything looks legit. Sweet. And also, like, I might have accidentally put, like, this was 6 hops instead of 7, and I would have caught that mistake because I wrote that next to it. Excellent. Last problem. Let's go ahead and do it. Number 6. We're going to shift down to number 6. Number 6, y equals negative x. So that's going to be falling from left to right. So starting at 0, 0. Okay, down 1 over 1. And I'm just going to do these diagonals. Okay, we're reflecting over this line. The points are very important because if you just go off by a line, your line might have messed up a little bit. But the dots, we can trust those dots. All right, we're going to turn that until it's vertical. It doesn't really matter which way you go, but I'm going to go this way. All right, so how far is M from that line? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my letter M. N is 3 hops. I'm going to zoom in a little more. That is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, letter O. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's my O and my P. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that's letter P. All right, and does that look like you just flipped over? Yeah, if N to N, those are the same distance, and that line is perpendicular to the reflection line. That's perpendicular and equal, that's perpendicular and equal. Yes, everything checks out. All right, now where are those real coordinates? All right, so cover up this one so I don't accidentally give those answers. So where are those real coordinates? M, that is -1, +7. N, that is -1, +4. Your O, that is +4, +4. And your P is +4, +7. Now I'm going to go double check myself. All right, so if I write down these original coordinates, so I'm actually done with that, but I want to double check and get 100% on this. So I'm going to double check all these answers. Just rewriting these. Okay, so if I reflect over y equals -x, so for that, the coordinates would switch and you would put negative signs. So let's see. First of all, did the digits switch? So so this would turn into a -1. Yep. Now would turn into a +7. Yep. So, and it's a good way to double check your digits because you might have just miscounted. So yeah, so -1, +4. Yep. +4, +4. Yep. And +4, +7. Everything checked out, and that's it. Hopefully that helped you guys out. Have a great and wonderful day.